So welcome everybody to Universal Grounding for May. Oh my goodness. You were talking before we started about the challenges of these energy surges. And also um, we had people commenting about how they are so in flow. And so there's a lot of happy energy here, a lot of cheerful energy, a lot of joyful energy, because Source, and this is a team of Source, of divine intelligence, of universal consciousness. Um, a lot of divine mother energies I work with, a lot of master healers. Yep, Merlin says hi. Christ consciousness, of course, Mother Earth, elementals. Source means anything that has divine frequencies. I always make the intention of in the highest and best good. And so we're in this um, place and time between worlds that it's a cave actually in the base of Mount Kailash where a lot of sacred rituals took place years and years and years ago. It's a mountain that has been used for religious pilgrimages for a long time, and it accesses realms outside of space and time. And so that's where we are in this cave. And Source is meeting us here for the one purpose and one purpose only, to help us transform, to help us transition. And what's needed now is more alignment. Alignment bordering on connection or reconnection, because what I heard from a lot of the people commenting was some of the symptoms, which are symptoms of both awakening, realizing that you are something greater, more expansive, but also grounding. You know, your nervous system isn't regulated. So, and everything in between. So, Source is here to help regulate, reset, repattern, realign, rebalance, all the re's, and assist your process. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We're being welcomed by, again, a chorus of just beautiful. Oh, yep. Okay, so there's the Angel Jophiel. Angel Jophiel has been with me since I was a child, probably before, guiding me along. I didn't really know she was an angel for the longest time because, I was like growing up in the Midwest as a Lutheran, and what did I know of angels? And so I probably would have rejected an angel. So she came to me as like an earth elf, and then later on she kind of showed me she was Dobby like, because I was really into Harry Potter at the time. And now I can see her full glory. She's the angel of illuminating beauty. And so she's showing up here to help not only illuminate beauty, but in order to illuminate the beauty within you, we have to remove um, the blockages and the layers and the distortions and the dissonance that prevent you from really embodying it, right? And so illuminating beauty is a part of her process by helping to release and transform. And she helps by coming into your system. So we're going to experience her coming into your system. And so I'm going to ask her to come in through the crown into your heart and spine on the count of 3. You ready? 3, 2, 1. And so she's settling in. I'm going to ask her to expand her energy for just a bit so you can get an idea. There she goes. There's a warm, soft glow, almost to the point of tears of awe, and love. There, and now she's receding. So the Angel Jophiel is here to join you as their personal assistant and concierge. And the next thing we're going to do is really physicalize the divine within your system by chanting the sound of Om 3 times. You're welcome to join on your end. The actual action of chanting is excellent for the nervous system, especially the vagus nerve. But if you're not in a position to chant it out loud, feel free to just soak in the energies moving in, around, and through you. So we're going to take 3 breaths in, and on the out breath, chanting the sound of Om in an elongated way. You ready? First breath in. Second breath in. And a third breath in. I don't know if you can notice how much stillness and quiet that brings into your physicality. If you're having any kind of nervous system issues, um, it's typically the vagus nerve that's out of alignment. And humming is a wonderful way to really help the vagus nerve feel better. So, chanting mantras also. Um, Kundalini Yoga does a lot of chanting mantras, Sanskrit mantras, or kirtan music, um, whatever you're called to do. And that's something really easy. You can just put one on, learn some of the easy syllables, and sing along for 5-10 minutes in the morning. It'll change your world if you do that every day. So the next thing we're going to do is put our focus and awareness in our lower half, right at the root chakra. We've got some new people. So first thing I do is just clearing out your root chakra first and foremost. When we're living in this human consciousness pollution, because there's a lot of anger out there, a lot of misery, a lot of doom scrolling, a lot of angst, a lot of worry, a lot of what ifs, could have, should have, and so it's a heavy energy, and it's all around us because again we are energetic beings. And so I'm just cleaning out a root chakra for some of you. I'm going to put in these crystals. I do this for my groups. These are amazing crystals. They're called self-cleaning, and so they're going right in your chakra, your root chakra, and what they're doing is they're going to act as vacuum cleaners to instantly remove that negative buildup, because that's another reason we're having symptoms is the root chakra gets built up pretty easily. Chakras are really just representing what's going on in your life right now. So the root chakra can get built up, and so this self-cleaning mechanism, these little crystals that are powered by intention, will help keep your root chakra clean, and the energy is being sucked out by the goddess Kali, the goddess Durga, who are taking that energy and using it as fertilizer, because nothing is wasted in the universe. Even our garbage energy is great fertilizer for a lot of different reasons. And the next thing is I'm going to upgrade some grounding cords for people. Of course, if the frequency is changing on the planet, your grounding cords need to be updated. Kind of like your apps on your phone or your computer, they need to have software updates all the time, and so does our grounding cord. So we're upgrading your grounding cord to be more high frequency. There you go. For those of you who are having issues with grounding, this may be another reason why your grounding cord really is old hardware. Anyone who's had an old phone, I'm raising my hand, knows it pretty soon gets outdated because it can't be updated anymore. And same with our grounding cords. Maybe it doesn't really sync up with the frequencies on the planet right now. So we just did a little grounding cord update. I'm just going to make some tweaks here to a few of you, updating, upgrading. Yeah, to access this energy, the grounding cord needs to be open, clear, and strong. So I just made a few updates, upgrades to some of your grounding cords. There, oh, much better. So let's try out your new grounding cord. Inviting you to put your awareness down into your root chakra, right at your tailbone, and we're going to extend it down through the floor, the chair, the sub-basement, into the soil and the various layers of the earth, the granite, the water table, into the very molten core, and let it connect, plug in to the heart of Gaia. Heart of Gaia, Earth Mother. We've talked a little bit about Schumann resonance. She's literally the heartbeat of Earth. So we're going to let this connection kind of solidify for some of you. There we go. Because connecting to the Earth's magnetic core as the heart of Gaia is a wonderful way to sync up with the natural heartbeat of the planet. There we go. I'm pausing here because this connection to the heartbeat of the planet is just beautiful. It's like you're listening to the most exquisite symphony. But there's also a little sadness here. And this sadness is indicative of the lost connection. So if you look at the last couple 100,000 years, humanity pre-human history, that means it's not written, but we can see artifacts and we can know history from what's left behind. For a couple 100,000 years, we lived as vibrational beings. You know, we see cave writings on the wall that show alien type beings that probably weren't visitors, they were us in vibrational form. And so about 4,000 years ago, this power structure started taking over, which we now know of as patriarchal. And we lost the balance of the matriarchal form of creation. And the matriarchal form of creation wasn't what you think it is. It was just creation itself. It was the understanding that everything is connected. Everything are individual parts of the whole. Trees talked. Water spoke. We related to everything as animated, as our relations. And so our systems were quite high frequency. So to me, what's going on in the planet is that we're reconnecting our physicality, our mentality, our emotionality, our spirituality to the remembrance and the physiology, the physical changes. That's the reorientation of our physical bodies to both a lost world and a future world that is yet to be. And the more our bodies recalibrate, the more that reorient, the more they align with higher frequencies, which engages in this physical change. Your cells need to become more high frequency, your brain synapses, your muscles, your fascia are the communication network for dimensional information. Everything becomes like, sonar and radar where you sense things, and people describe it as void like this sense of knowing, where everything is just is, right? They say it's okay, but everything just is, and there's no need to describe it because you have an instantaneous knowing of belonging if we have to put words to it. So why am I telling you this? Um, we're at the center of the earth, connected to Gaia. We have great cosmic mother. Um, and so we're going to get a light body activation. I'm not quite sure what exactly it's going to entail, but first they're clearing out some survival fear in your tailbone, in your root chakra, in your coccyx area. Coccyx is that uh, tailbone that used to is served as a energetic type rudder. Oh, there we go. So there's some fear. We ran into sadness first, and there's some fear of reconnecting, and that fear is normal. Because if you look at these last 4,000 years, what I'm telling you is really not well known. It's kind of out there. And in fact, it's feared and even demonized by huge section of the population. Well, that doesn't exist. It's because our anthropologists, when they were studying the indigenous, and our indigenous forefathers, our indigenous ancestors, all knew how to connect to the earth, all knew how to connect to the planets. Where do you think, the astrology came from? Because they could read the planets. They literally could read the planets. That's how connected we were to everything. A tracker put his hand next to a paw print, felt the energy of that animal miles away. That's that's that was normal. There wasn't even a word for it. And so we're remembering to reorient, to realign. But first and foremost, what's in the way is these 4,000 years of conditioning that says that doesn't exist. And of course, some of that conditioning is traumatic. Imagine with the Native Americans, the trauma they went through as their whole entire culture on this country was wiped out. That kind of trauma still sits way down deep, and it bubbles up, especially for women, as a reluctance to be seen, as self image or self love problems, hesitancy to speak up. It bubbles up as insecurity and not feeling safe or protected. Ooh, there we go. There we go. So we just cleared out a pattern of that was sitting right there at your connection to the Earth's magnetic core, who I lovingly call Gaia, Earth Mother. There, beautiful. So she was restructuring your ability to reconnect to the center of the planet. As to me, the center of the planet is our galactic dimensional focal point, because Gaia is a dimensional being, and through her is a remembrance of our universal nature. I'm just sensing in to see what we're focusing on. So we're restoring. Let's see if I can find the light body activation. Light body activation is going into the cells. Sometimes it actually helps the fascia as well. Definitely the brain, the organs. It gets into the fluids in your system, the blood, the cranial sacral, and alters, rewires, rewrites your body's programming. So I want to make sure I kind of get this right. So we're restoring. Well, I'm just going to be very simple. and it may actually morph as we go along. This is a living transmission. So you'll hear me pause to listen. You'll hear me struggle to describe because it's pioneering energy. And sometimes I don't even have words for it, or you're going to hear me in real time as it develops. I remember when Trinity first came forward in the end of 2023, that session was just amazing because you heard me just describe it in real time as it was unfolding. It was quite amazing. So yeah, so we're going to start off with restoring connection as the focus. Restoring connection can mean various things, but to me it means restoring the remembrance of um, your greater wholeness, of your greater oneness is kind of a word for it, but wholeness implies that you are singular parts of a greater whole. It's more about embodiment. Oneness implies more of the um, unification, unity consciousness. Wholeness says unity is part of everything. It's part of just singular part of all. Okay, so we're at the center of the earth, and what we're going to do has two phases. We're going to slowly bring it up into your physical body, following the chakras, as following the body's different parts, and moving up through the chakras. And once we get to the crown, we're then going to reach up and pull down the actual light codes that are going to act as engines, as circuit boards to turn on this framework. There we go. So this energy from the center of the earth is coming up into your feet. It's acting as grounding, but again, it's a universal grounding, meaning that there's a theme to it. And this theme is reminding you, restoring connection, helping you remember um, a more expansive part of yourself that is deeply, deeply, deeply embodied. And connected to not just the earth, but universally connected. So pulling it up through the subroot first, up into your feet. Again, we're going into all the cells, the fascia, the tissue, the bones, the blood, the oxygen, the blood, into the atoms, the quarks, the space in your body. Yeah, everywhere. Part and particles. Ankles coming in to the shins and calves. You have up to 1 trillion cells. Each one of these cells getting little reminders. Psst. Remember, restoring connection. Coming up into your ankles. Coming up into your shins and calves. Again, it's moving pretty slowly. We're restoring balance. Thank you. That's why I'm like, what is it that's about this connection, restoring connection to balance? Really important. And what that means, um, because we spent so much time talking about it, thank you. Sometimes when we talk ahead of time, it actually redirects or directs where our session is going. Because Source is listening. We're in a sacred space, and that's what our conscious pioneering sessions are about. We literally set an intention and we sit back and see how it's answered. Conscious pioneering are the new personal sessions that just came forward this last month, and it's just doing wonderful things for people. So, restoring connection to balance. Just, I was trying to sense into it, and it just felt peaceful. It just felt, well, balanced. Wonderful. So it's going to help regulate, yep, your nervous system. It's going to regulate your ability to be present. It's going to regulate all sorts of things. Coming into the thighs. And moving into the pelvic area. Pelvic area, again, pretty important for maintaining balance. If you think about it, your pelvis is how you frame yourself, right? You to stand upright, you have your pelvis. To sit down, you use your pelvis. Pelvis is pretty important in establishing and maintaining balance. And put in a bunch of structures. Structures are little pinpoints of crystalline seeds that each carry an intention, and this intention is to support the restoration of balance within your system. And so we're dimensional creatures, remember, quantumly attached and interconnected to everything and everyone. So these crystals follow this intention. In fact, one set of crystals I call GPS crystals that act just like they sound. They're like little Pac-Men following this intention wherever it needs to go. Coming up the energetic spine into the genitals and lower organs. Yep. And of course, we were focusing on the coccyx earlier. Coccyx is how you navigate, how you balance. Probably in past evolution, it was, actually a tail. Into the lower intestines, the bladder. Again, lighting up your cells, your fascia. We're building a physiological framework here, and then we're going to bring in the light codes that have the dimensional information, the instruction, just like little circuit boards. Ooh, really lighting up the energetic spine. Coming into the midsection, stomach, digestive system, liver, kidneys. Whew. kidneys are tingling a little bit. Moving into the upper organs, the pancreas, spleen, gallbladder, large intestine. Oof, and following the spine up into the vagus nerve. That, believe it or not, is connected and affiliated with all your organs and systems in some way. It's the largest nerve in the body. Yeah, it's really going to focus on the vagus nerve, but it's waiting till we get up to the neck. Coming into the rib cage, the sternum, the lungs, following the back of the spine, back of the lungs, heart center. This is going to help your body establish a baseline of centering, of grounding and balance, of connecting to balance first, connecting to balance. Because in order to connect to balance, it's like you're giving your system a baseline of the energetic balance. So to me, I keep saying over and over and over again, grounding is so different now. Because we're being asked to ground in uncertainty, and our system is like, what? How can I do that? Well, because the center is always changing. The frequencies of the earth are always changing. We're looking for that Schumann resonance. Our heart wants to connect to that same heartbeat of earth, of the planet. And so that's always shifting and changing. But if we have our own centered balance, our own, I'm trying to think what that's called. What's that little bubble in well, in a balance? Oh my gosh, they're laughing hilariously. What's that little bubble called when you have a balance for construction? Um, uh, it'll help you calibrate. Thank you. It'll help you calibrate to change because you're going to have your own internal compass, for lack of a better word. So this is helping you build your own internal compass on a body level as an attunement. So coming into your physical heart, up into your breasts. Again, following the spine, back of your heart, up into your spiritual heart. Ooh. Ooh, spiritual heart getting a little reorientation and balancing here. Your spiritual heart already knows how to center. The thymus already knows how to center. And so it's just reactivating it. Going up into your clavicle, your shoulders, down each of your arms, elbows, forearms, hands, palms, fingers, ooh, into the skin. And back up into the neck, each of the vertebrae, and now following the, oh, now we're going to get a little bit higher into the thyroid, back of the neck, brainstem. There we go. Now following the vagus nerve, down through your body. There we go. This is physiological as well as into your energy bodies and chakras. Of course, your mental body, your spiritual body, your um, uh, emotional body, all getting tweaked. Now coming into your brain. Oof. Be here for a little bit. Brain synapses, neural pathways. Ooh. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, throat. Prefrontal cortex, that's your executive function. Ooh. Corporal colossus. Oh. Ooh. Some master physicians here helping with some physiological reorientation. Ooh. Especially in the HPA axis, that's your hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenals. Your left side of your body really getting heated up. Because the left side of the body represents your feminine side, the restoration of connection to balance. Well, if you think about it, femininity has not really been in balance in thousands of years. So there's lots of reasons why we won't go into that. We do go into things like that during our transformation sessions. And there's ancient patterns we all carry of that split off from feminine balance to patriarchy. There's a lot of stuff in there. So our left side kind of reawakening to a certain extent, because this restoration of connecting balance is, I want to say normal, but it's innate. Thank you. I knew I had a better word. It's our primordial blueprint. And I'm asking, why isn't this just restoring balance? Because it's connecting to balance. Because like that balance in in construction, a little bubble. When you put it on something, it's going to show you where you're off, and so you're going to need to reconnect it. So you don't really want to, because balance. So it's like, so the concept of grounding and uncertainty is always changing, right? So you need that internal compass, that little bubble that's going to always know when you're out of balance and readjust. Isn't that beautiful? So it's about connecting to balance as a inner attunement, inner compass, inner radar. There we go. It's activating like your inner radar. It's tuned to balance. So this is one part of the equation. I'm still working on the brain. And we do universal grounding in every one of the series and in personal healings, but it usually takes a couple minutes, sometimes longer, depending on what we're doing, what we're bringing in, because we're adjusting, constantly adjusting. Our bodies are, and minds and spirits are in a place of reorienting and aligning and rebalancing. And so we always take a few minutes, up to 15, maybe 20 minutes, sometimes the whole session, if that's what's called for, in every single session, because that's where our humanity is right now. That's where the earth is. We're in transformation. We've got timelines converging. We've got time speeding up. Ooh, there's some tingling going on in the skull. Beautiful. I'm just waiting to get a little heads up that putting more structures in the brain. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're extending. Um, it's kind of like a noddy, a tube. When we were adjusting your grounding cord, it extended up. So we're going to extend up into through this space, through our galaxy, through the next galaxy, the sun, the very heart of the universe. And what's coming down is pure light, this effervescent light, of clear light, of light codes following the intention. And like I said, they're acting like little sparks, little engines, little circuit boards that are going to come into the framework we just created, turn it on. It's coming down into, there you go, it's coming into the skull and the brain now. Whew. Beautiful. Now filtering down into the neck and spine and throat and thyroid, larynx. Of course, it's spreading out into your entire energy system. Your entire energy system is as complex as any circuitry board you've ever seen. It's hard to even imagine our dimensionality when we're in third dimension. Flowing down the shoulders into each of the arms, elbows, forearms, hands, palms. This is moving a little quicker because, again, we're just popping in the circuit board. Coming into the clavicle, the top of the chest, down into the shoulder blades, again, following the spine, into the physical heart, breasts, lungs, rib cage, all the fascia and tissue and folds in the lungs and the chambers of the heart, pathways, and into the cells themselves, flowing from the heart center down into the midsection, all your organs. Again, following the spine, lighting up the vagus nerve as we go to large intestine, kidneys, spleen, pancreas, gallbladder, liver, stomach, bladder, lower intestine, and following the spine into the coccyx, pelvis, Whew, and shooting down each of the legs, knees, calves, feet. And as it integrates, it's solidifying. So you may feel a ripple effect when it turns on, or you just may notice in your day-to-day living in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, how you're more easily navigating the surges. I can't say if this is going to immediately alleviate any symptoms, but it's sure going to help. It should help, I say, because I'm not in charge. I don't ever make predictions because there's so many timelines converging right now. There's so many different options and access to parallel realities that it's really hard to say any one thing for sure. But I know that this reconnection, this connecting to balance, is helping you find your ballast. There's the word. And like a sailboat in a storm that has that big giant fin, that's its ballast. When it gets hit by a wave, it just tips right back up, right? So this is an internal compass that has ballast that's being restored into a system. And our systems already knew this. As an innate remembrance. Oof. The kidney just came online. And so we're going to spend some time integrating in all space, all time, all realities, all dimensions, all realms, all fields, interdimensionally, dimensionally, catching up and physicalizing wherever it's most needed. Integrating the brain, nervous system. And as we integrate, this shift just starts to settle generally. It can also be disorienting for you as well, because your system is adjusting to the new shift, the new movement. And everything in between. Integrating the chakras. Oof. And energy bodies, especially the physical body. Vagus nerve wants special attention. There we go. Vagus nerve is like your distribution center for receiving, and especially when the nervous system is facing a lot of collapse and our nervous system isn't really cut out for that. We're still standing on a lot of unhealed, unprocessed trauma as a society, as a culture, personally as well. There's so much dimensionally that unless you specifically go look for it consciously and uproot it, there's so much down there. And so it's arising. It's hard to balance amidst that. But this ballast, this reconnection, is going to act like a compass to navigate your way through as things fall away, as things rise up. And your vagus nerve acts like a receiver of all that survival fear, and then blows up your biochemistry and transmits it through your cellular function into the endocrine system and yada, yada, yada. Your fight, flight, freeze. And so balancing the vagus nerve is important here. Yeah, specific focus on that. Because that helps you balance emotionally. That helps you balance mentally. That helps your biochemistry balance. Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Balancing your cellular function, cellular consciousness, integrating, catching up, physicalizing. Integrating your organs. Ooh, a little bit of release from the organs there. Beautiful. Sometimes the biggest movements happen in integration because you're asking everything to catch up and something says, well, I can't because of this. You know, dimensional healing isn't one and done, it's a process. It's like a spiral. You may notice that this may need more integration. Again, everybody's different. Everybody's body system is different, what they're connected to, how much they're holding ancestrally, karmically, how much they're interfaced with the human consciousness and the collective, how much divine intervention is coming into their life. And so your response to this could be immediate, could take weeks, could cycle back, and maybe you need another listen or two or three, depending on you. This is designed to be artistry that you can access, follow your intuition, and utilize if that's what you're called to do. Integrating what's called the intelligence system and the life field. It's how your body talks and interacts and functions with itself and the greater world around you. Life field is every single experience you've ever had in all lives. Integrating the luminous egg, your genetics. You know, I'm going to put some structures in the genetics. That's going to take a little bit of time. Beautiful. Bringing in some awakening structures. And integrating your overall system in all of consciousness. Running some Deve therapy, which acts like a dimensional therapist for help with your psyche, with your psychological body. Sometimes it brings some added clarity. Beautiful, your system calming down. So now I'm going to bring in, so we exist in parallel realities and we can access different dimensions where timelines and reality streams exist of a future you that has fully integrated and is living in this space of connecting to your balance as a ballast, as a central focal point to help you navigate these changes physiologically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, on all levels. And so this you exists. So what we're going to do is we're in this place called Universal Timelines, is bring in this future self of you and act like a blueprint, an overlay for you to follow. It doesn't immediately change things, although it might. It's reinforcing what we already did and giving you a lane. Like, here's your highway now, body, where you didn't necessarily know that you had this before. So you're going to hear me breathing for a little bit. When you've worked through every single issue related to it and gained all its wisdom, here's the key: gaining the wisdom. You don't want to skip that step because, as you know, if you work through something in your own personal life, you get the experience, you learn little nuggets like acceptance, patience, allowing, forgiveness. And so you don't want to skip these steps. And so we're bringing in the optimal you. It's already done all this. And so it's going to act like a highway, a lane, a blueprint, an overlay. Beautiful. And for the last few minutes, we're just going to soak in the coherence of this restored balance. See how long it took to do that? And to physicalize it in your physiology, you had to update, upgrade, rewrite, rewire everything, and then restore the light codes. So we're going to just go a couple minutes over because I want you to really feel into, if you're awake, what this is like for you. Because people describe balance differently. I really had a hard time even knowing it was balance because I spend a lot of time grounded and in this energy as well. And it was just so peaceful. But there's also a sense of knowing in here. There's a sense of calmness, of course, which comes with circumnavigating the fluctuations in life. There's confidence there, a sense of assurance, maybe safety. So I don't know, you tell me. I always love getting your feedback. You have my email, text. Some of you have my text. Let me know what this feels like. Reconnecting to balance. I can guess that it's going to help you navigate these energy surges that we talked about with so much more strength, with clarity, with resilience. There's a word we haven't used all session long. Because it's not just physical, it's mental, emotional, it's in your vagus nerve, it's in your nervous system to really help you adapt and reorient and attune to this center spot of yourself that knows how to balance, like the world tree of life. It's a huge part of this path. This is the first thing that came into my awareness when I first started doing this work. I called it the tree of truth, but it was really the world tree that is deep rooted and branches that reach up into the universe. And so, like a tree that's deeply rooted and also anchored above, when a storm hits, what happens? You may wobble a little bit, but you are safe and secure, and you're safe and secure in knowing that you're safe and secure. So, to me, the biggest benefit here, the biggest wisdom, is that sense of knowing. Because we all know we have a lot of things heading our way as the world collapses, a lot of insecurities, a lot of uncertainties, a lot of destruction, transformation. It's a destructive process. There's no getting around it, but our entire culture is built on landmines of trauma, unprocessed, unhealed. So, of course, it has to break down. When you build anew, you need to remove that toxic soil to plant plants in fertile soil. And we are both the toxicity and we are both fertility. And our process is both letting go and opening up to new possibilities. We are creating this new vision. We are creating what some call a new earth. We are creating through this remembering, reconnecting to what once was, to build what will be. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, the balance is settling now. So I'm getting this is going to take a day or two for some of you to really, some of you it's immediate, but to really let this integrate and settle in. Again, give yourself time. And so just bringing in some love to amplify and strengthen all the different shifts and movements. We sure covered a lot of ground here today. Love is universal language. So many beautiful qualities in love. And the angel Jophiel coming in to sprinkle little nuggets of balance. Because this isn't, again, remember, it's never a one and done. We're all works in progress. And these little crystals of balance are going to go into those places that are still works in progress. Thank you, Angel Jophiel. Oh, yes, we went a little long. Thank you for your indulgence here, but my goodness, it was such a joy to be a part of this process for you. This is going to be going on the Multidimensional Healing YouTube site, so you can access it. If I have your email, you'll get sent a copy of the replay, but you can always find it there along with the rest of the Universal Grounding sessions. Beautiful. Yeah, so, oh, the crystals from the Angel Jophiel are lighting up like little sparks of little sparks of well, beauty, because she's illuminating beauty. When you're in a space of balance, boy, do you connect to beauty in a different way, right? Because you just notice it. It's like if someone tells you, blue Volkswagen, you're just all of a sudden going to see blue Volkswagens. It's in your conscious awareness now. And so now these little crystals of balance are going to light up a sense of just expecting more beauty in your life. Thank you, Angel Jophiel. So as much as I'd hate to end, we always end with a Sanskrit prayer that translates into, may we be led from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May there be peace and freedom on the earth, and may we continue to be growing conduits. Masatoma Sakamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirkamaya, Yatyamam Trangamaya, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Ryo Namaha. Hari Om. Peace, peace, peace. May this growing seeds of balance, this framework, this newfound light in your life continue to build and ripple out and create more peace for everyone in your life, for the community, for all the world, and the entire universe. And it be asked, let it be done. So it is, so it is, so it is. So taking a deep breath, breaking you up and out of this space of grace. It is done. It is complete. Bowing my head in gratitude and grace, thanking you for a time together. Thanking, of course, all our divine helpers, our guides, source, and thanking you for allowing me to be a conduit. Have a beautiful and blessed rest of the evening. Until next time, be blessed.